Hello everyone, and welcome to another Learning Live. It is Tuesday and it is time to get crafty. Just checking my little things over here, making sure I can see my screen. Of course, everything's just gone sideways on me. It's all good. It's all good. I just may have to manually zoom as opposed to use my handy dandy device. Who is ready to play with some ink? So I intentionally did a little bit of wordplay and said that it's a drag playing with Catherine Pooler inks. And I mean that in the best possible way, because one of the techniques that she is well known for is a dragging technique where you can drag the ink onto your piece of paper and turn it into solid color cardstock. It's lots of fun. It's a great way if you really want to be matchy-matchy. It is a great way to stay in your color families, because even if we have the perfect color cardstock, having an ink that match, they're two different mediums, so it's not always easy to get that perfect match. This is a way to really keep everything all in the same family. And also, if you're going away somewhere, maybe you don't have to pack all your cardstock. You just pack white, you pack your ink, and away you go. So when I say it's a drag, I mean that in a good way, because this is a really fun technique. And because the Catherine Pooler ink pads are the foam pad as opposed to the felt pad, you're gonna get a result that's very different than any other inks that you might have in your collection. So without further ado, we've got people watching. Please do jot a hello in the comments here. I am watching for comments. Let me know if you have questions. Matt's commenting from the other room, so clearly we are live on all the things, all the channels, and let's have fun. I see Heather's chimed in. Hello, and I guess everyone else is just eagerly waiting and being quiet. So please do jot a hello in. Love to hear from you, see if you're watching, and let's just switch over to the desktop. There we go. It's a little bit slow tonight. So I have a whole bunch of supplies out here on my desk. Some of this is what we used at Make and Mingle last week, and we made these super cute little tiny gift boxes. It is using this dragging technique that I'm going to share with you tonight, and the Lawn Fawn tiny gift box die. This is quickly becoming a favorite, and if you see how super cute this little box is, the box is not even, it's about 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches, and maybe only just over 1 inch tall. But it is perfect for like maybe a Lindor chocolate or just a little tiny trinket. Lawn Fawn does also have a video to show how you can make these tiny boxes into an advent calendar, so something to think about as we head into that holiday season. I saw some more Christmas from one of our suppliers today. It's just around the corner. Here's a blue one that I did as well, and the die comes with the little bow, and then I just used my stamps to further decorate up my little box. Other things I have here, I did pull out because this is actually a fairly quick technique, so I thought maybe we'll do it a couple of times, and I'll also make a pink ribbon card. If you caught my video earlier today, I am celebrating 12 years cancer-free, so throughout July, most, if not all, of what I will be creating will be using pink to really celebrate pink this month. I've got some Catherine Pooler stamps. I've got some of the stamps from my collection. And you know what? Let's just see where the hour takes us. Hello, Debbie. Thank you for joining. We're just gonna have some fun. So over here, and again, I really want to focus on the pink shades of the Catherine Pooler. This is the Spa family, which does have some softer tones, has some really, really pretty pinks. I think I did have a little swatch of these guys. I think I forgot to grab it out of my little bag here. Here we go. So here is kind of the family. I've also pulled out Sangria, which kind of hits the dark end of this color swatch. So these are the main colors that I'm going to be using tonight, but I also pulled some blues because you never know when you need some complementary colors, and some beautiful green. Oh, and red. Red, I think, just wasn't meant to be in that pile, but we got some complementary colors that we may pull out as well. So I'm going to start with the lightest color because I really am going to recreate this little box, and it is using all kinds of shades of pink. So my lightest is quartz. Oh, you can't see that because my little circle's in the way. The lightest is quartz, so I'm going to put everything else away. And I have a piece of cardstock. I mean, I've got a bunch of pieces of cardstock here because we're going to be making some stuff. This one here is this my full 6x6? Yeah, so I just took a piece of 12x12 white cardstock and cut it into quarters because this tiny gift box is bigger than an A2. Now, I probably could trim it down if I wanted to save that white, and maybe I will actually do that, because this technique does take a little bit of ink, so you don't want to waste it if you're going to be using it for a lot of different things. I think if I remember correctly, I cut this down to 1, 2, 3, 4 3/4 wide. Let me just do a double check here. Yeah, that should be good. And the height is good, so we're just going to save that little piece of white. If we were doing a bow or something like that, we could leave that white and cut that out. But yes, let's talk about the dragging technique. So as I mentioned, and as you can see, the Catherine Pooler inks, maybe it's better if I zoom in this way. There we go. These are a foam pad. So it really is like a sponge that is sitting holding the inks. It is nice and squishy. It does give you some good ink coverage on your fingers. We did have to re-ink this. And if you ever do need to re-ink it, maybe I'll show it after I do the drag. Your little bottle of re-inker is what's going to keep your ink pad juicy. But this is a really fun technique. And the other thing I'm going to recommend that you have handy is just a piece of scrap paper. Let me come back out just a little bit here. Maybe jump in the middle. Because you are going to feel some resistance when you are pulling the ink pad along the paper. Literally, we are going to drag the ink pad down and watch it change color. But it does give you a very saturated, and it can be even just a little bit damp. So I use the scrap paper just to hold on to my paper. Try not to get too much ink on my fingers, though I'm already not succeeding with that. You could tape this down or put it on a sticky mat or something, but I like it being a little bit flexible so that I can work with it. So simple and easy to do this dragging technique. We're going to take the ink pad, we are going to push down, and we're going to pull towards us. So push and pull at the same time. Even if you have super smooth paper, you will feel some resistance. So it might take 1 or 2 tries to get the hang of it. Maybe if you are doing this at home, don't try it on a super big piece like this for the very first time. So I'm gonna hold this. It's white now, so I can just hold it. I'm gonna push down And I'm going to pull. And yes, there is some resistance here, but look at that. Look at how easily we got some really, really great coverage on our paper. Nice and easy. Now, of course, I did also get it on my glass mat. Even though I had my scrap paper here and ready to go, I forgot to put it down. So, good thing I have the glass mat. Just going to take a baby wipe that down, scoop that up, maybe grab some paper towel too. All right, and then we start all over again. And this time I think I will grab that piece of scrap paper so I don't have to keep wiping up the glass mat. Even though I know that's what it's for. Get my nice big magnet here. Now this time, just because I don't want to be reaching across myself, this is where I am going to flip it. This is where I'm going to hold it with that scrap paper. And you will notice there is a little bit of a discoloration here. That's where we dragged and it pulled the ink out because that's the edge that was leading. Don't worry, it has not harmed the ink pad. It has just taken that ink out of there. So for my second pass, I am going to just turn this around so that I can use the other edge. And again, push down and pull towards you. And you can go over it once or twice. I wouldn't go over it too many times. But look at that. Now it does build color when you overlap. So if you want to do a second pass to make it darker, you can. And see, I'm not even using the paper this time. And as it dries, it will even out. Now, luckily for what we're doing tonight, we're also going to be stamping on it, everything else. That kind of overlap line is going to be much less visible as we go along. But look how, I mean, it's just beautiful. It has really changed. Now, it hasn't saturated all the way through, but it has really changed and created that seamless background, which makes it perfect for this little box. Now, before I go in and random stamp this, just to share with you how you would re-ink it. Again, let me zoom in even closer. I've got my re-inker. You shouldn't need to, but just out of habit and mental well-being, I like to give it a good shake. There's no reason why it should separate, but just part of me thinks that I should shake it. I'm then just going to take it and gently squeeze, and I'm just going to scribble kind of down my pad here. Just like this. Now, it's going to look a little funny for a little while. You could take a palette knife, or if you have, and don't use it for cooking anymore, one of those Pampered Chef scrapers. If you have, something with a straight edge, probably wouldn't recommend the bone folder, but that seems to be what I have handy here. You can also just go like this and spread the ink into the areas where you may not have gotten it. And then, of course, wipe it down. I think I'll use the paper towel. So that's as simple as it is to re-ink your ink pads. And then I would let this sit just for a little bit. That way it really lets the ink sink down into that foam pad and resaturate it so that it is ready to use again. So a very simple technique. And like I said, that just took seconds to make that pattern paper. Close that up and we'll let it sit so that it can be ready for the next time. Generally speaking, I would say don't re-ink your pads right in the middle of using them, because sometimes they get a little bit too inky right off the top. But if you're in the middle of a project and you absolutely need it, then go for it. All right, next up, I need my stamp set. And I'm using this one that's called Absolute Favorite Floral. This was actually the one that Catherine Pooler and their team sent to me when they were trying to woo us and get us on board, and I've actually found that I've used it quite a bit. So I'm going to use this flower here, and we're going to do just a basic random stamping. I've got it on a block here. This is not a technique where you would necessarily want to use your MISTI. Using a block is definitely much easier. And I'm going to go to that next darkest one, which is Pink Champagne. Melissa's saying she's had these Catherine Pooler inks for 6 years and have only re-inked the light ink colors once after doing this technique. Well, that's awesome. That's great to hear. Sometimes I find that it needs it, sometimes it doesn't, and it depends on your climate, it depends on the room you're crafting in, and it's just nice to have that re-inker handy if you need it. But this direct-to-paper technique is a lot of fun, isn't it? And you can see that even that seam is really drying out. So Melissa, thank you. Thank you for sharing your experience. That's really good to hear that you don't need to re-ink it every single time. Okay, I'm going to that Pink Champagne, and I am just going to stamp all over with this flower. Now, in reality, when I die cut this out, I don't need to do these bottom pieces here. I don't need to do this top piece here. But you know what? If I've got this out and I'm stamping, I might as well cover the whole thing. So I'm just going to ink and stamp. Ink and stamp. Ink and stamp. And I'm making little triangles, little trios here on my paper. It's totally okay to go off the paper. I'm sure many of you have seen me do this before. I think this was like the very, very first stamping technique I ever learned, and I pull it out all the time. I love making my own pattern paper, and it just helps you to really customize your project. And over here, and then I think I'm going to stop. Now, one thing I find, and maybe you can't see it on the camera, and this is a light color. Whoops, don't drop it. Don't drop it. I do have a fair amount of ink on my block. That's the one thing I find with the Catherine Pooler inks is if you push too hard, you really just need to kiss it, you will get ink on your block. It's not a wrong thing, it's just something to be mindful of. So when you're stamping, make sure you go straight down and straight up again. Don't go down and rock, because then you could get ink all over. So before I move on, I'm going to just clean that off. There we go. And let's put this stamp away. Now here's a little thing. I don't know if you noticed. I've got yellow tape on my stamp set. I am horrible for losing this carrier sheet that goes with stamp sets if it's not already attached. So I just used a piece of wide Best Ever Craft tape to create my own hinge so I don't lose it. Whoop. Fingers in the ink. It's one of those nights. Okay, the next darkest one. I think I'm going to skip Sparkling Berry and jump to Rose Petals to do the center of my flowers. And that's this little guy here. Oh, Ellen's tuning in. She forgot it was Tuesday. Melissa, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to put you on the spot. Since you've been using Catherine Pooler inks for quite a while, what is your favorite color? Do you have a favorite color? What would you recommend to us? All right, so I'm just trying to fill in the circle, and I'm probably better if I was over top of it because I am missing the center a little bit, but that one might get cut off anyways. And you know what? If the flower centers aren't perfectly centered, Well, you just say it's nature, or it's their perspective, or it's an artistic choice. Nobody's perfect. All right, so that is done. And creating my pattern paper is now done. Look at that. Look at that. Look how pretty that is. Now, one thing I did find doing this direct to paper again, it does saturate. It does saturate the paper. And Melissa says she loves all the Spa inks. Spa is the color family that we currently have in stock. It is a softer, more vintagey colors. So I'm right there with you, Melissa. Glad to hear you like those colors. The fibers are a little bit damp, like it feels cool to the touch, as opposed to room temperature. But I didn't find that it affected die cutting it at all. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Melissa says she loves that you can also download her color wheel for free on her website to make picking colors easily. Yes, not only can you download the color wheel, but you can also download the swatch charts. So I just started swatching my inks tonight as I was all ready to go live, but not quite time. And if you have trouble finding them, I have downloaded them as well. So email us at info@craftersworkshop.ca and I'd be happy to send them to you. All right, let's die cut this baby and make this box. So I'm gonna grab this, grab the die, and plop it into place. And I don't have a lot of wiggle room, and I'm noticing that I am missing. I've got a lot more flowers where I'm not going to be die cutting. I wonder if I flip it. If I flip it, will that make a difference? Oh, that's a little bit better. Few more flowers shifted off there. And you know, the nice thing about this is if I really wanted to, I could go in and stamp more after this is die cut. But I do like it the way it is. Let's see once it's cut what it looks like. Melissa says that the SCT Let's Stamp Together class with Catherine Pooler is tomorrow night. I'm sure that'll be a good class. You'll get lots of great techniques from that as well. All right. Okay, so here's my little box. The nice thing about Lawn Fawn dies is that they always give you all the score lines, all the cheats. So all I have to do now is fold along these score lines, and my box is going to turn out perfectly. And with this tiny box, it's one of those ones where there's lots of little bits, but there's actually not a lot of gluing or adhesive that is required. So I'm gonna lay this back open. I've folded on all the score lines. Everything is folded in. All I need to do is 4 little tabs for adhesive. So I am going to put a little piece on this one, a little piece on this one, flip it over, a little piece on this one, and a little piece on this one. Give them a little rub so that they stay stuck. And again, because the paper is just that ever so little bit damp, you really want to make sure that your tape sticks well. And here's my trash can. Excuse me, so sorry about that. So I'm going to peel the backings off of 2 tabs. This one's going to fold up and into the front, like so. And this one's going to fold in and up to the back. So we're just lining up that seam there. Half my box is folded. And then let's repeat on the other side. Repeat repeat on the other side. And tuck that in. And there we go. And you fold your little tabs in, tuck your little lid in there, and there you go. So yes, I probably could have done my stamping a little bit tighter, but it's still super cute. And you know what I really could do if I wanted to just stamp a separate flower, maybe that bigger flower, die cut it out and put it on the top. But these little tiny boxes are fun. The other thing that's fun about the tiny boxes is that Lawn Fawn does have little, I'm going to call them costumes. So you can dress up your tiny box. This one was the last one I did, so I learned that it's better if you put the flap at the back as opposed to at the front. And here's a little bumblebee, and that one I've got the opening at the front. But what I did is I just put the face on foam dots so that it could get my finger in there. So that is the tiny boxes. That is the direct to paper. You want to see it again? You want to see it again? Let's make a card this time. And because I want to do pink ribbon, I am going to do some direct to paper with pink ink to die cut the ribbon. And then maybe we'll do a nice dark color, a nice dark pink. Maybe that, maybe even the sangria. Even though I know it's kind of more purpley. Let's see, what does sangria look like on here? Is sangria too purple? I think, oops, where are we? I think you could call that in the pink family. My life, my rules, we can make it work. And it'll be nice to see that same technique with a dark color versus the lighter color. So let's do sparkling berry for our ribbon. Let's do, or maybe, I don't know, decisions. Let's do rose petals for our ribbon, and we'll do sangria, or maybe the greens. What if we did succulent? Succulent would be really nice for a background. Gives it kind of that garden vibe. Okay, so rose petals, and I had my paper cut. Where is it? All right, so rose petals for my ribbon. I'm going to do it on the smaller piece. I know that the ribbon pieces will all fit on a half of a quarter panel, so I've got that already cut ahead of time. Let's do that direct to paper dragging technique. I'm going to try. Ready, 1, 2, 3. Oh, when it comes out like that, that's quite a bit darker, and my thumb kept getting in the way. Practice makes perfect. There we go. Get that little corner. And the fact that Catherine's ink pads are oval also can give you some fun ideas. You could create, a nice little edge. I don't know what I would use this for, but you could create patterns with that if you didn't want to do that dragging technique. It is kind of interesting. All right, let this dry. Let's do our big piece now. My plan is I'm going to have the green be a border. Sorry, my brain's going. I've got some different ideas. I'm going to do one piece that as the border. So I don't need to fill in the entire area. If I am just doing it where I know I'm going to cover up a good portion of it, I just have to do this. Ooh, look at that dark. That was spruce. Look at that. Love it. I'm going to do that. But see, I'm getting a little bit of ink. That's why it's good to have that scrap paper underneath. So there, that's going to be my base. And let's do another one. And maybe this time I'm going to switch. I'm not going to do the succulent. Where's my other green? Let's do the matcha. Move this over. Get rid of that big pool of green there. And let's do that matcha. Drag. I'm not on camera. There we go. And let's do the other side. I find I tend to miss the corners a lot, so make sure you check that before you put your ink away. There we go. And that'll provide a really nice backdrop for our ribbon. Okay, let me trim this down because obviously I can't do 4 1/4 on top of 4 1/4. I'm going to take a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to do a 1/4 inch on all 4 sides. So 1/4. That's going to give us a nice 1/4 inch border all the way around. And yes, I'm going to get out my handy dandy alignment tools to help put that in place. And let me grab this pink piece now and do our ribbon die cut. Okay, so I'm going to do this arm, but I am going to put the word hope in there as well. This one I'm going to do on its own. And if I keep those arms wide, I should be able to squeeze that little connector piece in there. Come on now. There we go. Everything's looking good there. So this is the Awareness Ribbon die set from my collection. We all have baggage. And I'm happy to be pulling it out again. I know it was initially designed for mental health awareness, but I think the beauty of this die is it can be used for anything you want to bring awareness to, anything you want to show support of. And there we go. So, strength, hope, the other arm, the little connector piece. There we have it. And if you have not caught my video that I posted earlier today, today is my 12th anniversary cancer-free. And I have started a fundraising page on the Canadian Cancer Society. But one other thing that I will offer is anyone who purchases my awareness ribbon die in the month of July, I will donate 10% and add that to my fundraiser. So if you don't have it already, or maybe you want to buy it for a friend, go and order that from our website. And I will donate that to the fundraiser as well. All right, let's glue this little guy together. So this connector piece, don't know if you can see it very well, but there are little etched lines to help us line everything up. Hope is going to go on top. So I need to make sure I do the other one first. Oh, and if you haven't seen on our website, my favorite glue is back in stock. After quite some time being out of stock on Nouveau Deluxe adhesive, we now have it back in stock thanks to Matt and his magical research powers. We got it from a new resource. We hope that it's something that's sustainable. All right, now I need a little bit of glue on that side. And a little bit of glue just in the center to hold the arm together. And let's tuck that into place. And there is our pink ribbon. So now we can start layering everything together. Now you can see again, when paper gets wet, it tends to curl. If that is something that bothers you, take your heat gun and you can set it so that it dries the ink, or just gently curl it in the other direction. Once we start taping it down, it's going to dry out. It's going to stay nice and flat. Oh, I've taped it up here, but I wanted to use my alignment guide. My two Misties are sticking together. All right, so let's get this magnet out of the way. I'm going to put my paper into place here. I'm going to grab my little 1/4 inch guide. And tuck that into place. And then I can take my green piece here, nest it in. Oops, make sure that one's tucked. That one's tucked. Nest that in. And voila, we have a nice even border all the way around. And that will go on a card base later on. Actually, I shouldn't put that Misty away, because I should do a sentiment on here as well. So if I imagine that my ribbon is going to go like that, with that word hope really almost sideways so that we can read it properly, I can grab my sentiment. My favorite one on this whole set, and I mean it seems silly, but You Got This is one of my favorites, but I also like It's Okay to Take It One Breath at a Time. I think that's the one. I'm going to use. So that can just sit here in the corner. And you know what, to keep the continuity, I'm going to use that spruce ink. I'm going to say, why does it not look straight? But I think it's because my Misty's not straight. Okay. There we go. It's okay to take it one breath at a time. Clean that off. Nope, goes on this one here. And then let's add our ribbon. Come on. I'm going to use some foam squares. One in the center. Sometimes I find, even though it will fit on that top area, sometimes I find just snipping it in half makes it fit better. So one here, and then let's do one at each end. this one back in place. And then you know what I think I want to do? This is a different Catherine Pooler set with the hearts. And I'll show you a fun one just before we leave here. I'll make a really fun one with some of these bigger ones. It's got the 2 parts, so you can do 2 different colors. But I also like that there are some smaller solid hearts on here. So let's grab this little guy here. And then maybe this is where I'm going to split the difference and go with that succulent green. And just add some hearts. Like so. So really simple. Maybe I'll add a few little gems on here as well, but that's just a nice, subtle, simple way. And to think, we made that entire card with white cardstock. We did not use any color, a solid color cardstock. We just used our inks and had some fun. Oh, Ellen has posted my my fundraising link here in the chat. Thank you, Ellen. All right. So we got time. We got time. It's only 20 to 9. Let's make one more card. And I do want to I'm going to use the pink. I'm going to use this heart stamp, and we can have some fun. Okay. Thinking. I think I need one more piece of paper. One sec. Fortunately, I have an abundance of paper. Cut this one down. And I know I'm going to want it smaller, so I'm going to do 3 3/4 by 5. So that I don't have to do that second step where I cut it down to size, but I'm going to leave it white. I'm going to get my scrap paper. Let's do this one in, haven't used sparkling berry yet, so let's do that. And I'm just going to do the edges again. That is a gorgeous color. See what happens when you get out your inks and you play with them? You fall in love with them all over again. So there. There is my base. We'll let it dry just for a second. And here is where these split hearts can be fun. And it is called 2-part hearts. I think I'm going to use this one here with the stripes, and the bottom is right here as well. I am going to use another one of the sentiments from my ribbon set. Let's do, I want a short one, but not super. Resilience Lives in You. Let's do that one. So let's start with the biggest heart. Or the top part of the heart, I guess I should say. And my big block. Now, because this is the first time I've used it, I'm just going to condition it, as they say, take off any of that manufacturing residue so that it stamps nice and clean. Now, of course, then wash your DNA off of it. And I'm going to put it right here. So I'm going towards the bottom right hand corner. And I'm going to use that sparkling berry again. This is where it's all nice and coordinating and matchy-matchy. And let's just put it, I'm going to put it on a little bit on a jaunty. No, I want the sentiment to be straight, so I'm going to keep this straight. So there we go. Push it, just let it soak in for a second, then lift it away. I am going to do my sentiment next. So typically, if you didn't want the sentiment in the middle, you could just put the bottom of your heart right next. But I want to add the sentiment. So I'm grabbing a block. And I changed my mind. I'm going to do, we'll fight this together. This time I think I'm going to use black ink. Got my VersaFine here. And please forgive if my head's on the screen. We'll fight this together. Like so. I'll clean that later. And then I need the bottom of the heart. The bottom of the heart. And I'm going to do succulent for this one. Am I still on camera here? And eyeball and bingo. There we go. So there, you've got your heart split by your sentiment. I probably could have been over that way a little bit, but your mind does amazing things and it pulls everything together, so I'm not too worried about it. I still have that little heart. Still have that little heart here, so I'm going to grab, let's do matcha again, or let's do matcha this time. Just add another little heart here. And maybe another little heart down here. Look how cute that is. So you really, if you take nothing else away from tonight, it's the idea that you can do a lot just with ink, stamps, and white paper. It's very easy to get a lot of mileage from your supplies. Let me tape this down. Once again, I'm going to grab my handy dandy alignment tool. Make sure that's tucked in the corner. Make sure this is tucked in the corner. I like to hold it firm. And then I can tuck my paper in that corner. Pretty good. There we go. And give it a good burnish because that inky paper is still a little bit damp. You want to make sure it sticks. But there you go. Super simple but super fun. And your colors are all going to match. All right, so let me just, where did my other card go? We've got these two cards, 2 pink cards done today. Hooray. And my little box, I can't remember if that's the, oh, I think that's the original one. This is the new one. And there we go. So was that a drag for you? Haha, pun intended. All right. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, everyone. I've had lots of fun crafting, as I always do. And if you are new to Catherine Pooler Inks, if you even just get your hands on one ink pad and try some of these techniques, I guarantee you that you are going to fall in love. If you make something, please do post, nope, this way, in our Papercrafts Inner Circle group. And you know what? This month or this summer for the alphabet challenge, we've got 5 letters. I think it's MNOPQ, if I remember correctly. So P for pink definitely would qualify. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we will see you all next week. Take care, everyone.